Hello and thanks for joining me, your sport pilot James Glory, on another exciting episode of Sport Vibe on DNTWOK. We'll bring you exciting and latest sport happenings across the world of sport every Tuesday, as is our tradition to do so. This week won't be an exception, so I would implore you to please stay tuned, because we'll be right back shortly after this break. Welcome back. It was a beautiful weekend for football lovers across Europe as we witnessed so many matches over the weekend, and one of the key matches over the weekend was a defeat to Manchester City by Tottenham. It was an interesting one for Tottenham Spurs, starting the new season on up front under their new manager Thomas Frank, being able to defeat Manchester City 2-0 in the opening weekend of the Premier League. It was an interesting one for Pep Guardiola's side, suffering a defeat at the Etihad Stadium, the second consecutive Premier League home match against Tottenham Spurs. What is Pep Guardiola not getting right with the Manchester City side? You remember that they struggled in the previous season before now, and I think Pep Guardiola should have left Manchester City a long while ago, but he's staying put and suffering a defeat yet again with so many signings he got over the transfer window. Czech was on the field. We have Reinders and Elibrot Alan couldn't find the back of the net. In fact, he had fewer touches compared to other players on the field of play against Tottenham Hotspur. But the credit to Thomas Frank's side, where we saw Richarlison again putting up on other interesting performance against Manchester City to get a crucial win for Tottenham Hotspur. We could see that Brendan Johnson was able to convert a goal, and we saw also that Polia was able to score the second goal for Tottenham Hotspur to seal up the maximum point for Tottenham Hotspur in the opening week of the Premier League. Interesting outing for the Thomas Frank side, as they currently sit at the top 4 in the Premier League this season. Another interesting one over the weekend was a reaction from Arsenal Football Club against Leeds United, defeating another United club over the weekend. It was a 5-star performance from Arsenal Football Club, being able to defeat Leeds United. In that particular match also, we saw Victor Gogores being able to score a brace. He showed off the max celebration at the Emirates Stadium after converting a penalty shootout to seal his brace and seal the victory for Arsenal Football Club. Arsenal Football Club are at the top of the Premier League this season. You remember that they were able to defeat Manchester United in the opening week of the Premier League, and as though it looks not convincing enough, but this was a convincing performance from Arsenal Football Club, putting 5 past Leeds United at the weekend. An interesting one for them also going forward in the Premier League. We talk about Chelsea, the world champion, also being able to squeeze out a win against the struggling side West Ham United. 5-1 was the scoreline between Chelsea and West Ham United. Graham Potter, the magician, likened to Harry Potter, is not doing the magic for West Ham United right now, as they are struggling and he could be sacked anytime soon, as the team are sitting at the 20th position just after 2 games played in the Premier League, as Chelsea are doing incredibly well. We saw Estavio replacing Cole Palmer, and he was also able to provide an assist in the Chelsea match against West Ham. An interesting one for him as a player. But we can't take away the performance from Chelsea Football Club, who were able to react to the goalless draw in their opening week of the Premier League, as we also witnessed an interesting one from North London, giving us something to be excited about, as Arsenal Football Club was also able to squeeze out a win. But quickly, let's go on a very short break, and when we're right back, we'll continue from where we stop.
JK Royal Signatures, a blend of African fabric.
Welcome back. And continuing from where we stopped still discussing football, it permits me to switch down to the Bundesliga, the German league, where we talk about the defending champion Bayern Munich being able to get their first win in their first match of the season in the Bundesliga. They were able to defeat their arch rival RB Leipzig 6-0 in an emphatic win in the Bundesliga. What a way to start the season, showing to your rivals that you are up for the game and not ready to play around in the Bundesliga. We saw Harry Kane being able to bag an hat-trick in his first match of the season, and also the new signing for Bayern Munich, where we talk about Luis Diaz was able to find the back of the net and provide 2 assists in that particular match, as we saw the Vincent Kompany side getting ahead of every other team in the Bundesliga this season. Will they be able to keep up the momentum, as though it looks as if the Ten Hag side will be able to put pressure on Bayern Munich this season after starting off the season with a win in the Bundesliga? And if you remember, in the first match of that particular game, the Erik ten Hag side were leading against Hoffenheim 1-0, but Hoffenheim were able to come back from behind to get a crucial win against the Bayern Leverkusen side, who looks to be putting pressure on Bayern Munich this season. It's another defeat for Erik ten Hag after leaving Manchester United, and in his first match for the Bayern Leverkusen side, will he be able to step into the shoes of Xabi Alonso in the Bundesliga, or will Bayern Munich be having an easy ride to winning the Bundesliga yet again this season? And also talking about the man that Erik ten Hag is stepping into his shoes in the person of Xabi Alonso, who was able to get his second win in the La Liga over the weekend. He was able to defeat Oviedo 3-0 over the weekend to seal his second victory in the La Liga. Also, you remember that Barcelona were able to struggle and dig down to get a win against Levante over the weekend, after coming from behind to win that match 3-2 after suffering 2 goals down for Barcelona. The Hansi Flick side has been able to get another 3 points in a critical one that serves them over the league in the La Liga. But in the La Liga right now, Villarreal are topping the league as they have been able to score so many goals in the season. Remember, they were able to defeat Oviedo in the opening game of the La Liga. They were able to defeat them 2-0. And over the weekend also, they were able to perform, getting a 5-star performance against Girona, where they were able to win, and this means that they have 7 goals in their favor, putting them ahead of the likes of Barcelona and Real Madrid at the top of the La Liga table. Is going to be the fight to the end for Atletico Madrid, who are yet to get a win in the La Liga this season. Will they be able to do that next game, or will they also suffer a defeat or play a draw in the La Liga? The very sad one for Manchester United fans to talk about is that Manchester United suffered a draw against Fulham in a match where they were a goal ahead. In that particular match, you remember that Bruno Fernandes failed to convert a penalty, where he skied the penalty off the bar for Manchester United, and Manchester United somehow found their way back to the game, but they were eventually able to settle for a draw against Fulham. This is just 1 point out of the available 6 points for Manchester United this season, as they sit in the 16th position in the Premier League this season. They are yet to get a win, and they are one of the few teams in the Premier League this season that is yet to get a win. Would this be the end of Ruben Amorim? Do you think he should be sacked from Manchester United? As a person thinks he should be sacked, as Manchester United are not doing very well under the affairs of Ruben Amorim as their manager. And this is the length at which we'll be going on this week episode of Sport Vibe on DNTWOK. For more news and sports stories, follow us across our various social media handles at Sport Vibe on DNTWOK. Enjoy your week. Remain a law-abiding citizen. Thank you.